Your number one mission as a speaker is to take something that matters deeply to you and to rebuild it inside the minds of your listeners. We'll call that something an idea, a mental construct that they can hold on to, walk away with, value, and in some sense be changed by. I am using the word idea quite broadly here. It doesn't have to be a scientific breakthrough, a genius invention, or a complex legal theory. It can be a simple how-to, or a human insight illustrated with the power of a story, or a beautiful image that has meaning, or an event you wish might happen in the future, or perhaps just a reminder of what matters most in life. An idea is anything that can change how people see the world. If you can conjure up a compelling idea in people's minds, you have done something wondrous. In a very real sense, a little piece of you has become part of them. In March 2015, a scientist named Sophie Scott stepped onto the TED stage.
What I'm going to do now is just play some examples of real human beings laughing. And I want you just to think about the sound people make and how odd that can be. And in fact, how primitive laughter is as a sound. It's much more like an animal call than it is like speech. So here we've got some laughter for you. The first one is pretty joyful.
We're
off.
And within 2 minutes, the entire audience was howling with uncontrollable laughter. Sophie is one of the world's leading researchers on laughter, and she was showing just how weird a phenomenon it is.
Now, this next guy, I need him to breathe. There's a point in this where I'm just like, oh, you've got to get some air in there, mates, because he just sounds like he's breathing out. This hasn't been edited. This is him.
More like an animal call than speech, as she put it. Her talk was 17 minutes of pure delight. By the end of it, everyone was basking in the warm glow of a deeply pleasurable experience. But there was something else. None of us would ever think of laughter in quite the same way again.
The couples who manage that feeling of stress with laughter, positive emotions like laughter, not only immediately become less stressed, they can see them physically feeling better, they're dealing with this unpleasant situation better together. They are also the couples that report higher levels of satisfaction in their relationship and they stay together for longer.
Sophie's core idea about laughter, that its evolutionary purpose is to convert social stress into pleasurable alignment, had somehow entered our heads. And now, whenever I see a group of people laughing, I see the phenomenon through new eyes. Yes, I feel the joy. I feel the urge to join in. But I also see social bonding and a strange and ancient biological phenomenon at work that makes the whole thing seem even more wondrous. Sophie gave me a gift, not just the pleasure of listening to her. She gave me an idea that can forever be part of me. I'd like to suggest that Sophie's gift is a beautiful metaphor that can apply to any talk. If you can conjure up a compelling idea in people's minds, you have given them a gift of incalculable value. There's one other beautiful metaphor for a great talk. It is a journey that speaker and audience take together. Speaker Tierney Teese puts it this way. Like all good movies or books, a great talk is transporting. We love to go on adventures, travel someplace new with an informed, if not quirky guide who can introduce us to things we never knew existed, incite us to crawl out windows into strange worlds, outfit us with new lenses to see the ordinary in an extraordinary way, enrapture us and engage multiple parts of our brains simultaneously. So I often try to fashion my talks around embarking on a journey. What's powerful about this metaphor is that it makes clear why the speaker, like any tour guide, must begin where the audience is, and why they must ensure no impossible leaps or inexplicable shifts in direction. Whether the journey is one of exploration, explanation, or persuasion, the net result is to have brought the audience to a beautiful new place. We shouldn't underestimate how challenging that is. If we could somehow map what that idea about laughter looked like in Sophie Scott's brain, it would probably involve millions of neurons interconnected in an incredibly rich and complex pattern. How on earth is it possible to recreate that whole structure in a group of strangers' minds in just a few minutes? Humans have developed a technology that makes this possible. It's called language. I want you to imagine an elephant with its trunk painted bright red, waving it to and fro in sync with the shuffling steps of a giant orange parrot dancing on the elephant's head and shrieking over and over again, "Let's do the fandango!" You have just formed in your mind an image of something that has never existed in history, except in my mind and in the minds of others who heard that last sentence. A single sentence can do that, but it depends on you, the listener, having a set of pre-existing concepts. You must already know what an elephant and a parrot are, what the color concepts of red and orange are, and what painted, dancing, and in sync mean. That sentence has prompted you to link those concepts into a brand new pattern. If I had instead started out by saying, I want you to imagine a member of the species Loxodonta cyclotis with proboscis pigmented Pantone O32U conducting oscillatory motions, you probably would not have formed that image, even though this is the same request in more precise language. So, language works its magic only to the extent that it is shared by speaker and listener. At Princeton University, Dr. Uri Hasson has been doing groundbreaking research to try to discover how this process works. It's possible to capture in real time the complex brain activity associated with building a concept or remembering a story. It requires a technology called functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI. In one experiment in 2015, Dr. Hasson put a group of volunteers into fMRI machines and played them a 50-minute film that told a story. As they experienced the story, their brain's response patterns were recorded. Some of those patterns could be matched across almost every volunteer, giving concrete physical evidence of the shared experience they were having. Then he asked the volunteers to record their own recollections of the film. Many of these recordings were quite detailed and lasted as long as 20 minutes. Now, and this is the astounding part, he played those recordings to another set of volunteers who had never seen the film and recorded their fMRI data. The patterns shown in the brains of the second set of volunteers, those who listened to the audio recollections only, matched those patterns shown in the minds of the first set of volunteers as they watched the movie. In other words, the power of language alone conjured up the same mental experiences that others had while watching a movie. This is amazing evidence of language's efficacy. The fact that we can transfer ideas in this way is why human-to-human speaking matters. It is how our worldviews are built and shaped. Our ideas make us who we are. And speakers who have figured out how to spread their ideas into others' minds are able to create ripple effects of untold consequence. Do you have ideas that deserve a wider audience? Whichever metaphor you use, focusing on what you will give to your audience is the perfect foundation for preparing your talk.